Okay, parents, so we are making these videos in an effort to be able to communicate with you directly and not have to be on the phone all day long. So as the founder of Sinsu here at Second Chances in Southern Utah, I really want to extend a personal welcome and to explain some of the fundamental differences in the way that we go about therapy in a residential treatment environment and what makes us original to who we are here at Second Chances. So for a lot of you former students out there, this will be a good refresher and it'll kind of drive home the points that you've heard Mr. Adam talk about time and again, and that is the law of learning is repetition. And so it never hurts to go over these videos to get a refresher as far as what you were taught here and some of the most powerful lessons on what makes us Sinsu Academy. So here at Second Chances, the acronym is Sinsu. It's not the true acronym because the correct acronym would be SISU, and that's just a little weird. So we put in the IN in the middle, so it's SCINSU, and that is my email, adam@sinsu.com. That is my entire staff's email. It's their first name @sinsu.com. That's our website, www.scinsu.com. So if we say Sinsu, that is in reference to Second Chances in Southern Utah. Some of the fundamental, foundational differences in the way that we go about therapy. Number one, we have to identify that there is such thing as good versus bad therapy. And good therapy helps us to organize our thoughts, helps us to organize the trauma, organize it in a way that it can be composted. Once again, here at Second Chances in Southern Utah, we have a gardening experiential program that is simultaneously being conducted with all the other components that a residential treatment center would provide. We do have a psychiatrist, we do have a doctor, we do have LCSWs who do all of the therapeutic individual sessions and group sessions. However, when you're immersed into a program, understanding dendrites, and we went over that in a former video, you're never not learning. There's never a time where you can say, I'm just gonna shut my brain off and not learn. Most often, students are learning more when they're not trying to learn. Hence, we go about, in a former video, passion interest mapping. Understanding what you love about life and tapping into that part of the brain to grow the good tree one dendrite at a time. And we've gone over what dendrites mean. I know a lot of my former students are probably saying, no, not dendrites, not again. Yes, dendrites. We have to be aware of what information we're storing and how we process that information in our brains, because that's how we see the world. That's how you see it, that's how I see it. So when we understand this, you have to get the point of why we do good therapy here at Second Chances. We promote the organization of the trauma. We promote the organization of our issues. But we're not going to sit around and talk about them all day long. We want you to process them in a traditional group therapeutic environment with a licensed LCSW. We also want this to be supervised with our medical team, but we want you to have a hands-on experience of how to overcome these issues and how to be aware of it. And so we employ the garden modality. We employ getting out there into the legacy garden and out into the production garden beds. We want you to have the experience, the learning process, the dendrite, of planting that seed and watching it grow. We want that process to sink into your brains and to create that chemical reaction that we talk about. And once again, whenever we have a thought, whenever those dendrites are processed, we have a chemical experience. Our brain is the most powerful chemical producing pharmacy in the world. And when we access those thoughts, our brain creates those chemicals. Those chemicals then promote a feeling within us. And you often, when you parents are talking to your daughters, and you're going through some struggles, and you ask her, why did you do that? And she says, I don't know. She's being totally honest. She's not a bad kid. She really doesn't understand that chain reaction. That thought she thought when her friend sent her that text created a pharmaceutical response in her brain. It secreted a chemical that either went down or it went up with dramatic fashion. Her heart started beating harder, she was elevated, and then she did what she did. This chain reaction is so powerful that the blackout response, the lack of clarity when she's telling you the truth in tears, saying, I have no idea why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. We can help. There is good therapy out there. We want to organize those issues with the family at home, with your daughter in our care. We want to help in the organization of that, kind of like we're layering a compost pile. If you have the right ingredients in a compost pile, then it breaks down and it becomes fertile soil. If you just slop it all, if you put all the nitrogen layered without any carbon to break it up, it just becomes a mess of nasty, smelly, anaerobic slime. And a lot of people who try composting are like, I tried that and it didn't work. It never turned into fertile soil. It just turned into a smelly mess. The same thing with therapy. There is such thing as bad therapy. Bad therapy has you walk into that session, sit on your bum, and hash out your problems and access all the negative dendrites of everything that's ever happened in the relationship or in your history, in your past, and you just keep hashing it up again and again and again, week after week, time after time, without any seed planting of passion interest mapping, without any seed planting of layering the good in recognition of the trauma that happened. If we're not growing the good tree, our brains don't know the difference. So if all you're doing is going over the trauma over and over and over again in efforts to try to help them get past it, bad therapy is real. I've seen child after child come through our doors at Second Chances. We are their 5th, 6th, 7th treatment center. They have had dozens of therapists and doctors try to help them. And they come here and we expose them to our curriculum and we walk them through good therapy. And the child that was suppressed inside starts to reconnect, starts to grow, starts to love life through passion interest mapping, starts to have a clear direction on where these dendrites are forming, how she understands the things that she did before through understanding the thought processes of, I have the choice on what garden I'm going to tend in my mind and in my heart. Am I going to look to tend the grateful garden, or am I going to go to the ungrateful, lacking, deficit garden? That's her choice. We want you families to understand with a microscope, a transparency into our curriculum. We do believe that it is our choice to tend the grateful garden, to look for a way, to find that ray of hope, to look for that blue spot in a clouded gray sky, and to focus on that, and to really develop the faith principles of hope, of the future, and tap into that part of the brain that there is a way. That is good therapy. That is therapy that actually grows people, grows their hope, grows their faith, grows their belief in themselves, in the relationships that were dysfunctional, in the people around them. It grows their faith and belief in their future. How do you get a child to get out of that depression funk where nothing is going to work? You have to grow them through education, through experiential learning. They actually have to have the experiences. I believe it happens in a garden. I believe that's a big part of it. I believe in the physical activity. That's why we do gymnastics, motor, sensory. That's why we do a lot of activities. That's why we have a lot of clubs. We are growing the good dendrites so that they themselves can grow into their own positive changes. A lot of parents tell me, you need to change my kid. You need to change her. And I correct them and I say, no, first, we need to teach her the correct form of discipline. Is from the root word disciple, and it is to teach. One who teaches. Our form of discipline here at Second Chances is constant teaching. And my former students can attest that all of our staff, all of our administration, whenever they have a problem in the facility, whenever they make a mistake, we expect the mistakes because that's normal to us. The process of learning is you've got to crawl before you wobble walk and fall, and then you're able to walk most of the time without falling, and then you're able to run. That process is applied to every part of our learning and growth, especially in the therapeutic world. Good therapy allows for that growing process with the planting of the good seeds and the growing of those dendritic experiences. Bad therapy will have you hash it up and look at the negative in your relationships, look at the issues, and only recognize that deficit garden that is lacking. Those gardens are growing inside all of us simultaneously. They're ours to choose which one we're going to live in. Good therapy versus bad therapy really depends on leading them through a growing process. And that's why here at Second Chances, we say we are growing the good tree one dendrite at a time. Now you ask, why a tree? Why a tree? Well, if you grow a tree and it becomes a strong tree, it not only will fruit your full potential, the canopy of the tree will shade out anything else, any other negative issues, any other traumatic issues that they may be having. It can shade it out. And that's what we want to do. We want to grow the good tree so that the good in these children can shade out all of the bad. And this is our mission here at Second Chances in Southern Utah, where passion equals purpose and purpose equals fulfillment. We want to take that and we want to grow the good tree. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you guys on the phone. Thank you very much.